Betrayal. That's the only word that fits. South Africans are dying, poisoned by unsafe food, violated in their homes, and deleted on their streets. And our government's response? A press conference, a tweet here and there, a moment of outrage, and then silence and inaction. Do you remember when they pretended to care about the poison food sold in certain spaza shops? Do you remember their speeches condemning gender-based violence and the abuse of women and children? They always show up at the 11th hour, acting shocked, giving statements, shaking heads. But the truth is, we, the citizens, would have been crying out for years before they ever show their faces, before their carefully crafted condemnation videos started trending. And when the cameras are off and the hashtags die down, what real tangible change is left behind by these betrayers? What permanent solutions were implemented after children died from food poisoning in spaza shops? Seriously, what can we point to and say, after the 6 children from Soweto died, the government did this?
Mayile says over 500 spaza shops have been closed in Gauteng for issues of non-compliance.
A total of 541 spaza shops have been closed for non-compliance. Non-compliant businesses include those without Companies and Intellectual Property Commission registration, which is a legal requirement for operating a business in South Africa. Other issues of non-compliance include a lack of certificate of acceptability or comment from environmental health and non-payment of operating licenses that are obtained from the municipalities. Businesses operating from unsafe premises and within a hazardous environment have also been closed for non-compliance.
Are these shops now being routinely inspected in line with the Health Act? Are products being regulated? Are shop owners being held accountable? Do the shopkeepers have papers allowing them to be in this country? Inspections were done just for the cameras. The cameras are off now, and here we go again. They've already stopped the inspections. This is a comedy show, but it's not really funny. If real action had been taken, maybe, just maybe, this recent case wouldn't have happened.
Oh, but it was around 9 o'clock in the morning when they woke up. So, utilo, bati Stella, imali sifuna ama-danon is yogurt, lama yogurt lawa blue. Okay, bayithathe ke 20 randi, bahambe bayothenga ama-yogurt ayi-2 because the other child was sleeping. And then the one who's affected in hospital, and then the other one under 5 years, bahamba bayothenga ke ama-yogurt. They came back. When they came back again, the other one had woken up. Then they went, all 3 of them, to buy the third one's yogurt. Babuya ke, but nthelela amanzi, ngiyabageza 1 mabaqeda ukugeza bathi sifuna bayabona ukuthi kune change ku-20 rand babuyine 5 rand, and then there was a 10 rand also. Bathi akekho sethi change ngabadlalo reka amazimba bayithathe i-10 rands leyo bayothenga amazimba. It's fine. I went there. I think it was almost 3 hours or so. I was with my friend. My eldest daughter texted me and said, Mwanaki O is vomiting. And I asked her, Hore, he's vomiting. Is he okay? I know, we put him to sleep. And then I said to her, okay, I'm on my way. And then a few minutes later, like 15-20 minutes later, it was around 2 when my child called me. 2 I got home, and then the child was sleeping in the bedroom, and I was like, how are you? And he couldn't really move or speak. And then I asked him what's wrong, but then I could see that he unale bothata. Ke mo phamise kobo, ke mo shebe hore o tsala eng. Ha ke mo phamisa kobo, his lilimi la hae, he couldn't speak because lilimi neli, it has little wheel. And then ke mo bona mahlo a hae le wona na se right because Allah answer, he was shivering. With my sister I go request over I go shawela clinic. Ba mmotsa, what did you eat for the day? O jile di-danon, o jile mazimba ba rekile mo seng a bitsa di-stylos. It's pink in color. And then we then ate bread and tea. doctor immediately, "Arikona, mama, please wait that side." And they all surrounded him. And then habamo assessor. He was purple on the stomach and a little green. From there, he couldn't speak anymore. Nothing at all. Doctor immediately said, "You know what? We suspect poisoning. We're gonna send him to Bara Hospital." And then we waited for ambulance. They admitted the child, and the child went to high care ward.
What happened to the promises about registering spaza shops and enforcing safety standards? What's going to happen now after people express outrage on social media? Another weak statement from the Department of Health, a few politicians making the rounds looking serious and busy, and a few weeks later, it's forgotten again.
Then Saturday I went to the hospital. The child wasn't okay at all. He was a real mess. So while we were still there, I'm sitting next to him. He was fighting. Eventually he slept. When he slept, his heart started, he stopped breathing for like 6-7 minutes. And I went out, the doctors came in, and I went to sit by the benches. I sat that side, I sat for over an hour and a half or so. Then they called me back, I went back. When I went back, the doctor calls me and says to me, "Your child might have consumed a rat poisoning. So things are not looking good. He might make it, he might not make it." That was on Saturday. Because now he couldn't breathe anymore. He went on to started breathing cardi machines. And then on Sunday when I went there, I met another doctor. The other doctor that I met told me that my child is not improving. Instead, he's getting worse because his heart stops beating. They're sending him to ICU ward. And then we were waiting almost the whole day because they said abana bethu go ICU. Ka ema. On Sunday, nasa khonulu yeza anything since abo bethu. He went to ICUs on Sunday. Till today, uko ICU.
They demanded the registration of spaza shops. We all know that registrations of spaza shops doesn't do much. It doesn't solve the problem. Regular inspections are something that can help with this problem. So do the regular inspections.
We have a problem with counterfeit manufacturing plants, which some people are saying are also part of the reason we don't obviously have concrete evidence to this effect. However, do you foresee that your department could one day clamp down on these manufacturing plants that manufacture counterfeit goods?
Yes, the police, the intelligence in our country is working hard to clamp down the warehouses where goods are sold to determine whether they are counterfeit, and some of them which are kept there already expired so that they could not be allowed to be sold to our communities. It's good work in progress. As I have said, the police, the intelligence is working on the matter, and we need to strengthen every activity, even closing our ports, a close monitoring to ensure whatever gets in there is a credible item, not the counterfeit.
Certainly.
How long does it take you to clamp down? Donald Trump stepped into office, and within days in office, he had already clamped down on many things that were posing threats to the people of America. In South Africa, this issue has been going on for years now, and you are still telling us that you are going to clamp down on it. Really? When it came to deciding on imposing a VAT increase, you all were very swift about it. In 1 month, you decided and you implemented. In the case of young South Africans getting sick and some even dying from eating various fruits from these unsafe shops, you drag your feet. We see where your priorities lie, and we will remember it when we head to the polls in 2026. Now tell me this, after 6 women were gang raped, what action was taken? After the police minister called it the shame of the nation, what law was enforced? What justice was delivered? Can we honestly say that rape and murder victims in South Africa get the justice that they deserve?
Gender-based violence and sexual offences have increased.
A 5% increase has been recorded for the sexual offences. 12,218 people were raped between October and December last year. This is an increase of 181 cases, amounting to 1.5 increase compared to the previous reporting period.
Incidents of gender-based violence, including rape, continue to be alarmingly high. Releasing the crime stats for the first quarter of the year yesterday, Police Minister Becky Ele said 10,006 people were raped between April and June of this year. Now that is an increase of more than 72% compared to the previous reporting period. All sexual offences in the country recorded a significant increase. The number of attempted sexual offences increased by more than 13%.
To the South African morning. So, cause to celebrate, of course, to see that, there's been so many decreases, especially with serious crimes. But if you look at this year alone, the quarter you spoke about yesterday is the deadliest so far this year.
If these horrific statistics meant anything to this government, there would be bold action taken. But instead, victims are ignored. Cases are delayed, if not dropped. Abusers roam free until the people lose their minds and take to the streets.
Gauteng Education MEC Matuma Chilwane has revealed that 9 out of 12 teachers with criminal records for sexual offences are still employed in schools despite a vetting process. 7 teachers work in primary schools while 5 are assigned to special schools. The MEC has also confirmed that over the past 3 years, 40 teachers have been convicted of sexual offences, with 1 still employed on a final written warning.
Just imagine that. Known sex offenders are allowed to teach in primary and special schools. The most vulnerable among us are exposed to known perpetrators. When such little care and concern is applied, how can we be surprised by horrors such as these?
I'm of the view, in the light of all the circumstances of the case, that the state has not proved its case beyond reasonable doubt. Yes.
Quiet, please.
The accused are found not guilty and are discharged on all the charges. The court will adjourn.
All right.
All right, so there you have it. Some breaking news at this hour. Timothy Omotoso and his 2 co-accused found not guilty of rape, human trafficking and other abuses in their 8-year-long trial.
Our National Police Commissioner Fani Masemula says they've identified 3 people of interest in the Gwegwe rape case. But this does not make them suspects. Police have been severely criticized for their struggle to solve the case. While the 7-year-old girl was raped in October last year, there's still no clear answers with regards to the perpetrators.
The DNA of these 3 has been taken and it will be analyzed. So they are not suspects, they are people of interest.
They call South Africa the rape capital of the world, and what do our leaders do? They act angry for a few days, post a message, and then go back to their comfortable, taxpayer-funded lives. They live in secure homes, driven in luxury cars, paid more than they deserve for doing less than is required. And we, the ones who suffer, the ones who struggle, the ones who die, are the ones paying the bill. You'd think that with all the benefits that they enjoy at our expense, they'd feel some sense of duty, a bit of shame, a desire to serve, care, and protect. But no, they do not care.
We also have one of the highest rates of capital punishment.
Yes, that's for drugs.
That's for drugs.
Yeah, and we have
because you think drugs deserve to be treated with the maximum punishment.
If we could kill them 100 times, we would, because you destroy whole families. It's terrifying to see, because you're then drug dependent. You steal, you cheat, you rob your own parents. I mean, it's soul destroying, and they come in knowing that death, if they are found with this goods on them, but the rewards are so great. And they try very unusual people. Women from Africa, big mammies, come to sell clothes, and in between the clothes are kilos of heroin.
And if you bring heroin into Singapore,
you hang.
You hang.
You hang. Anything beyond 10 grams, you hang. Below 10 grams, maybe you can
If you are convicted of bringing in more than 10 grams of heroin,
you hang.
You hang.
That's right.
After a jury trial.
Yes, of course. No jury trial. Judge.
Judge.
Yeah.
Judge listens to the evidence presented.
Yes, of course.
And if he says you're guilty,
yeah,
you hang.
You hang. And they still come. Unbelievable.
Well, do you believe capital punishment is a deterrent or not?
Without capital punishment, our transshipment rate as a drug center would quadruple or quintuple.
Because you're right on the passageway.
Yes, and our internal consumption would go up by a multiple of 10.
Do you honestly see the current South African leaders imposing capital punishment for drug dealers, for those who manufacture and sell dangerous foods, rapists and murderers? Do you? Unlike following such examples and punishing those who seek to destroy South Africa and her people, many of the current politicians do the contrary. They betray us, the voter. They betray us, the taxpayers. They betray the men, women, and children of this country without any shame, no guilt, no fear, and no regret. Fellow citizens, we cannot turn betrayers into loyal servants, yes. We cannot teach selfish leaders how to care, yes. But we can hold them accountable. We can punish betrayal by refusing to reward it with our votes in the upcoming elections. South Africa, we have really become like someone in a toxic relationship, constantly betrayed, abused, hurt, but still holding on, hoping that the person will change. It's time to let go. It's time to rise up against it like the women of Liberia stood up against their abusive government.
Female artists performed on the front lines where they convinced soldiers to put down their weapons.
We disarmed with music, and they gave us the guns, and we turned the guns over to ECOMOG. ECOMOG turned it over to the UN through music. Some of the children that I disarmed, I brought them to do a case study with them. There were lots of love. These children will not go back to fight.
After the conflict had raged for 4 years, women once again refused to be silenced. More than 1,000 demonstrated on Monrovia's fish market field, going on a hunger and sex strike, and prayed. They were there for 10 months.
We were lying down under the rain, under the sun, on the sea, praying for peace to restore in this country.
The women convinced Charles Taylor and rebel leaders to meet in Ghana to negotiate peace. They staged a sit-in outside the presidential palace in Accra, where talks were held.
You see that? Don't believe the lie that you have no power. Don't believe the lie that there are no better options. Don't believe the lie that this is the best that we can do. There are honest, patriotic, capable people in this country who can do better if we give them the chance. If we create space for them to rise, we will enjoy a better South Africa. Fellow South Africans, 2026 is around the corner. Let's choose better using the ballot. Let's demand change through our vote.
We lost our sense of outrage after we voted because we were so relieved after 350 years, you know. So when people started raping 5-month-old babies, something that in the 1970s or 1980s would have drove us crazy as a nation, you know, we just went, hi. And even now, I mean, like, hey, they say every 2 minutes a woman is raped in South Africa. You know what I mean? And we don't have any outrage over that. To us, it seems like, hi, Sizotini, you know? And then the scarier one is that every day 3 women are killed by either their lover or their spouse. And the total, the South African annual total, exceeds the global total. So you can see where our country is just in the mindset of how we think about women. It's disgusting. It's really disgusting. Because we come from them. But we just take it as you know, it's okay.
Seriously, what kind of parent stays silent when their children is poisoned? What kind of parent stays neutral when their daughter is violated? Well, good thing is the government is not our parent and we are not their children. Therefore, we don't have to be stuck with the government that we have now. We have the power to remove them. The question is, will we use it? We have the tools to replace them. The question is, will we use those tools? Fellow South Africans, it is up to us to rebuild what these people, these betrayers have broken. 2026 is upon us. Let's wake up, let's stand up, and let's vote these betrayers out. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Katlego. This is Citizen Concerned. And until next time, beware of the comrades.